Hospital corridors smelled of antiseptic and fear. Machines beeped in rhythmic despair, and nurses moved with urgency that spoke of lives hanging by a thread. Amidst it all stood a man, drenched in rain, clutching a bouquet of white lilies, the only flowers she loved. His eyes were swollen from sleepless nights, his shirt stuck to his skin, and his heart, it was breaking. Ryan Hayes had been here for hours, refusing to sit, refusing to leave, waiting for any sign of hope. But hope, it seemed, had long abandoned the sterile room beyond those doors. Behind the glass, Emily lay still, pale, fragile, and fading. The doctors had done all they could. The words they used now were only gentle disguises for surrender. He could still hear the last thing she said before she went unconscious 2 days ago. "Don't cry for me, Ryan. Just promise you'll remember me when it rains." And now it rained endlessly, as if heaven itself couldn't stop weeping. Before we dive deeper into this heart-wrenching story of love, faith, and sacrifice, if you believe that kindness and second chances still exist in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us spread more stories that touch hearts and remind us of what truly matters in life. Ryan wasn't always this broken. A few years ago, he was a young architect full of laughter, life, and plans. He met Emily in the most ordinary yet unforgettable way. She was a teacher, sitting on a park bench, reading aloud to a group of children. He had stopped to listen, captivated by her voice that carried warmth even through the wind. It wasn't her beauty that first caught his attention, though she was radiant. It was her kindness. The way she smiled at the children, how she wiped a tear from a little boy's face and whispered, "You're stronger than you think." That day he waited until the story ended, just to say hello. That hello turned into coffee, coffee into laughter, laughter into love. They built dreams together, a small house near the lake, early morning walks, and endless conversations about everything and nothing. But life has a way of testing even the purest love. It started with fainting spells. Emily would lose balance, her hands trembling, her lips turning pale. At first, she dismissed it as exhaustion. She was young, full of energy. Sickness wasn't something she ever imagined would follow her. But one evening, as she collapsed in Ryan's arms unconscious, he knew it was something more. Doctors diagnosed her with a rare, aggressive heart condition. They said it was terminal. Her heart was failing, and her body couldn't handle surgery. Medication could slow it, not stop it. Ryan listened to every word, but his mind screamed in denial. He refused to believe that someone so alive could be dying. Emily, on the other hand, accepted it with quiet grace. She spent her days painting, writing letters, and visiting the children she once taught. She wanted to leave pieces of herself behind, something beautiful that would remain when she was gone. Ryan couldn't understand her calmness. He begged her to fight, to try, to hope. But she smiled softly and said, "Ryan, sometimes strength isn't in fighting death. It's in embracing life, even when you know it's slipping away." Months passed like sand through trembling fingers. Her health declined rapidly. She couldn't walk long distances anymore. Her hands shook when she tried to paint, and her laughter came out in short, painful breaths. But Ryan stayed. Through every hospital visit, every sleepless night, and every silent tear, he stayed. Friends told him to let go, to prepare for the inevitable, but he couldn't. He wouldn't. One cold December morning, he walked into her hospital room with a small velvet box. She was sitting by the window, sunlight brushing her pale face, a thin oxygen tube resting against her cheek. He knelt before her and opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring, engraved with the words, "Forever means now." She stared at him, her eyes welling up. "Ryan," she whispered, "you can't marry me. You deserve a full life, someone healthy, someone who can grow old with you." But Ryan shook his head. "I don't want forever," he said. "I just want now. I want today. I want to be yours, even if only for the time we have left." The nurses cried silently when they saw her nod. The hospital staff became their witnesses. The chapel was small, decorated with the lilies Ryan brought that morning. Emily wore a simple white dress the nurse helped her into, and Ryan wore the same suit he'd planned for their original wedding day, one that never came because her illness stole their tomorrow. When the doctor walked in mid-ceremony, his voice thundered in disbelief. "You can't marry her. She's dying." But Ryan looked up, tears falling freely, and said softly, "I know." The doctor turned away, unable to speak, as vows were exchanged between a woman whose heart was fading and a man whose heart beat only for her. When Ryan kissed her forehead, Emily smiled the purest smile he'd ever seen. In that small moment, there was no sickness, no fear, only love. After their vows, she whispered, "Thank you for choosing me, even when it hurt." He replied, "It never hurt loving you." The following weeks became the most beautiful and the most painful of Ryan's life. They spent every waking moment together. They watched sunsets through the hospital window, listened to rain against the glass, and dreamed of a world beyond pain. Emily wrote him letters, one for every birthday, every anniversary, every Christmas she would miss. She asked the nurses to keep them safe until he was ready, and then one night it rained harder than ever. Lightning flashed through the clouds, and the world outside blurred into silver tears. Emily's heart monitor began to slow, each beep weaker than the last. Ryan held her close, whispering that she wasn't alone. She looked at him one last time, her lips forming the faintest smile. "It's raining, Ryan," she said softly. "Remember what I told you?" He nodded, his voice breaking. "I'll always remember you when it rains." And then she was gone. The rain stopped hours later, but inside Ryan's soul, it never truly did. The days after her death felt endless. Letters, condolences, the empty apartment. He found her painting still unfinished, her favorite book marked at the same page she last read. But one day he opened the drawer beside her hospital bed and found an envelope with his name. Inside was a note that said, "If you're reading this, it means I'm finally free. Don't cry for me, my love. You gave me the happiest days I could ever dream of. You didn't just marry a dying woman. You gave her life when she'd already given up. So live, Ryan. Live for both of us. And when it rains, smile. That's me reminding you I never really left." He cried for hours, clutching the letter until the ink smudged with tears. But somewhere in that pain, he felt something shift. A quiet peace. She was gone, but not lost. Her love lingered in every drop of rain, in every sunrise, in every quiet corner of his heart. Months later, Ryan returned to the park where they first met. The children still gathered there, waiting for someone to read them stories. He picked up the same book Emily once held and began reading aloud. His voice trembled at first, but then it grew steady, filled with the same warmth she once shared. The children laughed, their faces glowing, and in that laughter he felt her presence again. Years passed. Ryan never remarried, though many encouraged him to. Instead, he built a small foundation in Emily's name, the Forever Means Now Foundation, dedicated to helping terminally ill children live their dreams, even if only for a short while. Every year on their wedding anniversary, he visited her grave with a bouquet of white lilies, whispering, "It's still raining, my love." I still remember life moved on, but her memory never faded. Because true love doesn't die with the body. It lives in the moments it created, in the kindness it left behind, in the rain that keeps falling no matter how many seasons pass. And if you've ever lost someone you loved deeply, you'll understand what Ryan felt standing in that cemetery years later. Not sadness, not regret, but gratitude. Gratitude that he got to love, to lose, and to live again. Before the story ends, take a moment to think about someone you love, someone who changed your life simply by being in it. Comment below with a heart if you believe that love, real love, never truly dies. And if this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more stories of faith, love, and kindness to the world. Stories that remind us that even in loss, beauty can still bloom. Because sometimes love doesn't mean having forever. It means cherishing now. And sometimes saying I know isn't surrender. It's the bravest act of love there is.